All right, lads, welcome back to me podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here. How are you? How you doing? Welcome back. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, and coming on back. I do appreciate it. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Man's-ID Show. Also available. It's another show I do with my buddy Corey Brooks. Available wherever your podcasts are from, blah blah blah, wherever you get them. I'm sorry not sorry that I missed last week because I was in Florida. Shout out to anybody who came to those shows. We sold a bitch out. We sold those bitches out, as the kids are saying nowadays. Had a great time down in New Smyrna Beach, Madcap Comedy Club. Thank you to all who came out. This weekend, I'm in Kansas City. Cannot wait to go to Kansas City. And then the following weekend, I'm in Pittsburgh. Come on, see me. It'll be a lot of fun. I am sick as a dog. Hence the shades. My right eye is just crying constantly. I may pause to sneeze throughout the episode. You can probably hear I do sound congested. But again, I'm sorry I didn't have another episode last week. But I'm also, you know what? You don't pay for it. So, excuse me. You don't pay for it. So I'm not really sorry. I get you missed it. But having said that, the day you guys start sending me money, then I'll feel bad. Anyway, so episode 2222, Make-A-Wish. I was down in Florida, went down, did some shows down there, and had a blast with my buddy Adam Snare. Thank you for Adam, for always showing me a good time. I went down there to do some comedy. I took the boy with me. We did some of the Disney universe and stuff, but I went down to kind of, on business. I went down to talk to the head of Disney down there to see what was going on. I needed to give him a good speaking to about, someone had to say it, what was going on with Rachel Zegler. So it turns out, I'm kidding by the way, remember I touched on that last week, or the last time, about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie, which is not called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think it's called Snow Brown and dress that she got at Party City, and the 7 little Portland homeless Chad people. That's what it's about. No midgets in the show, in the movie, or dwarfs, whatever you want to call them, whatever they fancy. I got 2 friends that I would consider midgets, and they would tell me midget's fine. That's the M word for them. So yeah, I there's a lot of, it's funny now because there's a chance that Disney might be, because they realize that they're nearly up to $1 billion. They're up to $1 billion now. They believe this movie will put them over the edge to lose $1 billion. And then the funny thing about it is, so here's what happened. So the head of diversity has stepped down from Disney. The head of diversity, her name is Latondra Newton stepped down. Bob Iger is back at Disney, right? They brought him back. I'm going to sneeze. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. Look at the light. No, it doesn't happen. And then my eyes are tearing up. So yeah, he's like, Bob Iger is back to like, you know what, we're done. We're fucking, why are you losing money? Because of, right? Again, I would assume that it's to do with the fact that you just haven't created an original movie, or is it the forced diversity in there that, again, nothing wrong with diversity, but it's just, of course, the forced one, the race swapping, the agendas has kind of caught up with them. So, and then of course this chick is out. Google her interviews, Rachel Zegler. Oh my goodness. She is out on the red carpets, shitting all over this movie. Just shitting all over this movie already. You know what I mean? She's just out there going like, yeah, it's weird. We're not going to do it this time. I didn't see it. I didn't like it. I watched the first movie. It's like, what a PR nightmare for that. Imagine being the like, you can picture that LA guy, the LA guy with the Bluetooth. Well, now they just have AirPods, but it used to be the Bluetooth. Right, he's just down. Rachel, sweetheart, how you doing? Zach here. Yeah, honey, love what you're doing out there. Love it, slay queen, slay. I love the fact that you're out there shitting on men in our interviews. Love that. But maybe we could just pull it back a little bit. I agree with you though. I agree. All men are pigs. All men are pigs, and they should be lynched. But I'm a big fan of that, of course. But can we please just maybe pull it back? So when you're on the red carpet, maybe just not mention that men are weird and men are creepy. That would be great. Love that. And love the energy. How you said you just hated the original version. Love it. Even though it was the very first animated movie to ever get an Oscar, not in an animated category, but it was a movie that got, it won against Best Picture against other real legit action movies. So love it though. But if you could just maybe pull back on shitting all over people's opinions and dreams and high hopes and respect for the movie, I'll be great, sweetheart. But again, slay queen, keep doing what you're doing. So now, anyway, head of diversity stepped down and Bob Iger came back, and he's saying like, listen, we might not release this movie. We just might not release it now. Let's just cut our losses. Why is my dog going crazy up there? Anyway, he's like saying, just look, let's cut our losses. It's time to let go. But it's so funny too, because like when you go down to Disney, a lot of British people in Disney this week. I was down there. A lot of Benny is upset of all this. A lot of British people down there, which is fine. And you know, again, my son's like, how can you tell they're British? Well, you kind of see them coming. And I have no problem with British people, but they're a bit... You know what I noticed, though, about... I didn't see any Irish people, so I can't say this, but British people got a bit fat. You've gotten fatter than I remember Britain. I don't know what's going on there. But, you know, a lot of the English people, right? And again, listen, I talk to people in Ireland getting fatter. A lot of Europe is getting fatter. But anyway, so that's was just one observation from Disney. But it was so funny about the wokeism, right, and about the genders and stuff. And here's what I got to see it in first hand, not second hand, right? First hand. So I'm talking to, I'm going in and they give you your ticket. Like I bought my ticket on the app and I scanned it and going, but then they have to give you a tangible ticket. So the woman looks at me, young girl, 20. She looks at me and she goes, "There's Chewbacca." Gives me a Chewbacca card. And then she's looking at my son and she's like, "Oh," and she's going through her cards of which one to give him. Do I give it a male? Do I give it a female? And you could see the fucking panic in her face. I go, "Sweetheart, just give him fucking Nemo. Just give him Nemo. He'll be fine. Trust me. He's a boy. Okay? You don't have to play that game with us. See what you say, right? Or say what you see." That's all you need. But you just, like, that's the example of this whole world thing. But, he shut up. Now, so, speaking of, so Disney are in the hole and they're making live action movies now. That's their new, like, they don't want to write any new scripts. They're just doing live actions. They're doing Bambi, like, you know, I guess that's going to piss PETA off, so they're never going to be happy. And they're doing Moana, which it's weird, isn't it? Moana's going to be kind of, with everything that's going on in Maui right now. And that's what I want to talk about too, Maui. Isn't Maui a character from Moana too? Maui, played by The Rock? Because Maui can do anything but burn. Oh, that's terrible. Let's talk about Maui, for example, or for a minute, or for the rest of the episode. A lot of controversy going on with Maui, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've been living on a rock, no pun intended, they got hit with a bad fire, and it's just been a fucking disaster, right? It's just been a disaster. I took a lot of notes and stuff like this because I really wanted to kind of get it right, because I wanted to give these people respect, right? So there's 1,000 people that are missing. Most of them children, apparently. Most of them are children, and they're missing. And we have to look at the fucking idiots in charge of this whole thing. Like the governor, Josh Green, immediately came out with his political agenda. Caused by global warming. That's what he said. It was caused by global warming. Because it's hotter, the fire burned hot. I don't know. I thought fire was hotter. I didn't know. I thought fire just is fire. I didn't realize it got hotter. That's not true, right? That's not true. So his agenda, and again, I'm definitely not a global warming denier. Definitely not. We have fucked up the planet. I agree with that 100%. So I'm not one of those people. So don't think, oh, Mick Thomas is a weird conspiracy. He doesn't believe in global warming. Of course I do. Is it the cause of all of our problems? Is it the cause of Maui? No. But he went on TV and he said, Josh Green said that it's climate change has amplified the cost of human life on Maui. That's what he said. That's his exact quote, right? It's not true, right? So here's what happened. I just really can't do this episode like this. I'm so sorry. Here's what he said. Here's what caused it, right? So I watched this guy, the scientist was on there who lives down there, and he did this thing. So they have these non-native grasses, right? So they brought in these grasses and soils, these non-native grasses that they use to grow sugar cane and pineapples. And that business went belly up. And what they did was they kept those foreign grasses on the land, which they're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to clear them up, but nobody fucking bothered just kind of scraping it out, knowing it was a hazard. And then some down telephone wires came down, caused the fire, right? And just that burst through. Not global warming. It wasn't global warming that caused it. Now, this episode, of course, I'm sure will obviously get shadow banned based on some of the things I've said so far, but we might as well go in for a penny, in for a pound. But also, what else happened? So, as the fire is going, here's how what the officials did. There was not enough water for firefighters. So, Kaleo Manuel, right? He is the head of safety in Maui, and he spent over 5 hours trying to ask a farmer if they could he held back the water supplies. So he trying to get a farmer, he spent 5 hours to try to get a farmer to redirect water so that they could, obviously use them. Farmer wasn't home, didn't pick up the call. So what does he do? Like, oh, he's not answering. Okay. How about you go there and you just fucking take it? How about you do that? It's people dying, mate. How about you just go fucking take the water from him? Where's my water gone? Sorry, use it to fucking put out the fire off the backs of people. Is that okay with you? What farmer's gonna go, aw? It's fucking remarkable bullshit, right? So yeah, like I said, 1,000 people are missing. Now you go into the conspiracies, right? So they say there's going to be 2,000 people dead. So now you go into the conspiracies, which I don't buy that much into that many conspiracies, right? Because some of them are out there, they're crazy. Like, oh, isn't it funny how Oprah's house didn't burn, right? I don't know if that's, I get why you're saying it. Oprah has a lot of land down there. Her place wasn't touched. I'm not saying that's it. But let's look at I still want to look at the how it was fucking handled. Okay? So no, before I go into how it was handled, we go back into the conspiracies. So it's funny that, and this is stuff that I fact checked. Do you know who John Pelator is? John Pelator, is that the bike? The bike that yells at you? Come on, everybody, you can keep... that's Peloton, isn't it? Yeah, Peloton. John Pelator, right, is the chief of police down there. And he's also the main coroner. So I didn't know the chief of police can be the main coroner. And also the chief of police can override the main coroner. So whatever reports he wants to do, he can actually override himself. Meaning, the bottom line is, of whatever cause of death, he gets to say what it is regardless. So he can override the coroner, which he is. Isn't that doesn't that feel like a conflict of interest? But you might know the name John Pelator, right? He is the chief of police. But guess what? Where he was also the chief of police. In 2017, he was the chief of police during the Las Vegas shooting. Ain't that like the shittiest bad luck ever, to be the chief of police? To be at the deadliest shooting in US history, which is true, right? That's the winner. That's number one. And also the deadliest fire recorded. Isn't that weird that he happens to be in charge of when both of those things happen? That's fucking, again, not a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theorist guy. But I find that kind of interesting. Now, you also have, you could go the other conspiracy, how they came in and they said, hey, listen, this is terrible with your houses and all that stuff. You could look at the conspiracy that People tried to buy their houses years ago, and they said, no, we're not selling our fucking houses. We started off poor. This house has been in their family for generations. They're poor people living in these beautiful fucking, on this beautiful island, but modest houses. They wanted them, and they said no. Now they burnt down. They go, well, what are we supposed to do with it? And it goes, well, you can take a loan out through FEMA for the value of the house. And what's the value of the house? Probably millions because of where it's located. These people can't take those loans out and pay them back. So now what happens? They get their insurance money, and then it defaults to the government. The land now defaults back to the government, so not the people anymore that has it. Isn't that crazy? That's one conspiracy. But I want to go back. I want to go back and talk about how it was handled. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. Also, the other conspiracy, by the way, before I jump on there, is, now if you live on Maui, you need permission. You need to line up for hours to get a permission slip to travel to another town. So we're back at that. That's illegal. That's illegal. That's unconstitutional. You can go where the fuck you want to in this country. I'm not lining up. For hours to get a permit. It's like when I go to Walmart. If I go online to pay for my shit, and then when I walk out, they go, can I see your receipt, please? I go, I got it, thank you. And they don't know what to do because everybody shows them their receipt. I go, look, I'm not getting on a line to pay for my shit, and I'm not definitely getting on another line to prove to you that I paid for my shit. I don't get on lines. I'm not definitely getting online to get a permission slip to go to the fucking next town over. But that's the law they passed in Maui now. That's a law there. You can't just keep going from town to town. You need a permission slip. But anyway, enough of the conspiracies. I'm not that. Let's talk about the people in charge. Let's talk about what's happening, what's fucked up. So who arrived? Only FEMA. The good people at FEMA. Yeah? Who one of their biggest complaints, and exact from the president of FEMA, she said, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money to help these people. God bless them. They probably don't. Right? They don't. But here's what happened. They're staying down in the Four Seasons. There's other hotels. They're at $4,500 a night is where the FEMA representatives are staying. They're staying at $4,500. We don't have any money. They're staying in these hotels. I looked it up, by the way, right? I looked it up. Did a bit of research. It is. 4,000. You can go from 1,000 up to 4,000. Some of them are 1,300. Some of them are 4,500. The FEMA representatives have to stay there. I get it, right? You don't want to stay down the street at a motel because the bagels are burnt. Right? You burnt all the bagels down in that place. We want a good continental breakfast. We've no money, but you can afford to put people up at a 4,500 a night hotel. I went online on hotels.com, which as a comedian, sometimes I'll arrive in town, won't even book a hotel. Hotels.com. Get me a hotel. There I go. There's rooms available right now at the Holiday Inn and the Days Inn, same company. $250 a night, ocean view. They're available right now, today, as I'm recording this episode. Why can't they stay there? Why can't they stay there? No. And you know what they're doing? They're spending $4,500 a night on all of these rooms, by the way. All of these rooms, the whole building has been rented out by FEMA people. What are they doing? Of course, they're giving them all the people to rebuild their lives $700. Can you imagine? You've lost family members. Children are still missing. There's bodies washing up on other islands nearby that they won't talk about in the media. They're washing up real fucking bodies of children, people, and what are they doing? They're going, here you go, here's $700. You good? Yeah, you go buy yourself something nice. There's $700 to get your life back in order again. And where does that end up? Of course, the man of the hour, who, when the fire first happened, 5 days later, by the way, 5 days later, he waited to talk about this, and someone said to him, what do you think about the fire in Maui? 5 days later, what did old Joe Biden, the president of America, say? No comment. No comment, he said. So then what does he do? He flies down to fucking Maui, finally heads down. What does he do? He shows up with a fucking lei. Look, I get it. It's part of their tradition. But when you put it on them when you get off the plane, just fucking take it off, Joe. Nobody wants to see you on television with a fucking flowers around your neck like you're about to do the limbo that you just can't fucking do. What does he do? What does Mr. Biden do? The president of America, he goes up, yeah, man, listen, I know how you're feeling. I know what you're feeling. I had a fire back at my house a few years ago. I lost my cat and my Corvette. That's what he said. That's what he said. I lost my cat and I lost my Corvette is what he said to people who are still, their children haven't come home yet. Their children were sent home from school, never made it, missing. Yeah, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. My cat. I don't care about cats. I don't give a shit about cats. I don't care. Cats are soulless. And I definitely don't care about your fucking Corvette. I don't care. I'm not a car person. Maybe I sympathize if you said you're Harley or something, or you're Indian. You know, you're 1976 Indian, for one of the first ones off the line. I'd be, oh, really? That's what he said. That's what he said to the people who have lost everything. And then he gets out, and it won't show you, but I've seen hundreds of videos of when he's driving through, people are middle finger, fuck Joe Biden, all that stuff. And rightly so. Rightly so. You know, I'm not going to talk about, and this is not me going to go back and talk about, oh, Trump got, you know, I don't want to touch that. You know why? Because I don't want this to become a political, I don't want to turn into a political podcast, because I don't like either, just because I don't like Joe Biden doesn't mean I have to be a fan of Trump. I don't like politicians. And maybe I'll talk about the debate too, where they had that what's his name, fucking Ramaswamy guy that everyone loves now, the Indian guy. And it's like, oh, he says all the right things. Yeah, but you know what? Then they turned out, you listen to him, you can play it back. He plagiarized a speech from Obama. And it's like, they're all the fucking same, aren't they? They're all the same, these politicians. None of us have anything. That's the mindset of the president of America said to people who've lost everything. 2,000 deaths. And he said, I know how you feel, man. I lost a cat and a Corvette. If that doesn't fucking, for the people who voted for him, if that doesn't make you go, shit, shouldn't have done that. Like, it's okay. I said this before. It's okay to admit you were wrong. Like, I shouldn't have had that extra piece of cheesecake. Now I'm shitting my brains out. It's okay to say that. But when people double down, oh, by the way, when you people double down, oh no, he did everything right. I've been on Facebook there. Hey, Facebook, I've noticed a lot of, and Facebook is the place, it's really more, it's a more like left-leaning thing, and I'm neither left or right. I talked about this on my last episode. Not a lot of Maui flags in your profiles. You still have, I got the vaccine, and your Ukraine things are there, the Ukraine, right? It's weird that we're still sending billions to the Ukraine, but we give $700 to our own people who lost everything in a tragedy. It's not like, you know what, and I get it, by the way, like, I understand, like, the homeless issue, and some people are like, I don't have this same view, but some people have this view with homeless people. Let them get a job. I get it. I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. I come from a place where I've studied about mental illnesses and that kind of stuff. I know it's not as easy as you think. It's not like a straightforward, I'm just choosing to be a bum. I'm not having that debate right now. But my point is, like, this is literally a tragedy. It's not like I'm saying, I put money into that area over there. Why are you giving them money, Joe? They're our Mr. President, whoever the fuck is in charge at the time. Why are you giving them money? They choose to be homeless. Like, I'm not even saying give money to those areas, but you could clean up those areas with your money. But this is a legit tragedy. This is where your people who just got up one day and minding their own business got struck by an awful, awful tragedy that you want to jump on and go, it's global warming. And you tell them about your cat and your Corvette. Do you understand, people? You do. Where's your Maui flags? Is what I'm saying. You've got your Maui. You've got your Ukraine flags. I got the COVID vaccine booster. You get all that. You're doing all the right things. You got all the right things going on. You're good people. You're virtual signal to us all that you're a great person. Thanks. We need people like you. Thank you for letting people know you stand with Ukraine without knowing the full story. Thank you for saying you got the vaccine. That's good to let us know. And we appreciate that. But where's your Maui flags? Back to my point again, guys. We have nothing in common with these leaders, these politicians, either one of them. Nothing in common. We have common with each other. I went on a road this weekend. I'll leave you on this. I went on a road with Brian Scott McFadden, very funny comedian. We went to Delaware together. We did a gig, and on the way, we saw Chris Christie. We think it was Chris Christie, like a massive police escort, big bus, because he's a fat fella, right? You can't just put him in a car for miles. Like all the exits were closed off. We got to ride next to them the whole time based on the highway, whatever. I mean, you're talking about like just a huge police presence guiding this bus. So we got talking, and Brian made a great point. You know, Brian, we talk about politics a little, and none of these politicians, like, you know, the Make America Great hat again, right? None of these politicians are going to make anything great. We are going to make things great. If we stop fucking arguing with each other, stop picking a legit side. The side should be humanity. The side should be your neighbor. The side should be the people who need help in your community. They're the ones. That should be your side. You know, read a fucking Bible once in a while. I don't know. I'm not telling you that. I'm not forcing that on you, but there's a lot of love in there, man. There's nothing preachy in the Bible as people think. Oh, yeah, a lot of religious people are preachy fuckers, but they're just like politicians. You don't need your guidance from them. Read a book. Read the Bible once in a while. It's all love, and we've more in common, I think, with each other. And I said that before. Russell Brand said it. I'll quote it again. Sorry. We have more in common with the people we're fighting against than the people we're fighting for in relation to politics. Make America great again. Let's make everybody. Let's help each other. Fuck them. Fuck those guys up on top, up on high. Fuck them. They're doing it again. Another COVID thing. They're going to try bring back masks. I saw he did an interview the other day. No, we say no. Just like they stood up against the Bud Light thing. I'm not saying pro against. I was pro that I hated what they did. I'm not saying. But the fact that people stood up and just went, enough. Enough. We need to stand up with each other and just say, enough of your shit. Enough is enough. But my heart does go out to the people in Maui. It's a hard story to listen, to follow. When you listen to them, when you see the stories, when you see the tales of just fucking destruction, and you see, you know, we can't put it in perspective into our own lives. You know, you guys, you couldn't understand what it'd be like if you lost your 70-inch TV. It's just sad, man. And my heart does go out to the people in Maui. Yeah, anyway, a lot of rambling. So sorry I'm sick. I'm on a lot of cold medication, so if I said something that upset you, I normally don't apologize for what I say. I really don't normally apologize for what I say, but I may have said one or two things. I don't listen to my episodes back, so if I said something that was out of line, I am fucking high on cough medicine right now, cold medicine. So whatever was said. Have a great one, and as always, wash your hands, you dirty fuckers. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.